What up, everybody? It is Jay here, and today we are going to be talking about mental health. I want to talk about mental health today because on Monday just past, which was 24th of October, TENI, which is the Trans Equality Network of Ireland, launched a new Trans Mental Health Awareness Week in Ireland called Transforming Lives, and they have a website dedicated to it with all sorts of information and resources, and they wanted people to get involved in the conversation by making YouTube videos, by offering up blog posts, all that sort of thing, and get involved and talk about mental health for trans people. I personally am most concerned with the mental health of trans young people. Trans young people often get swept under the rug due to the fact that, number one, you're a young person, and there's a huge misconception that young people cannot have real mental health problems. That you're not depressed, you're a teenager. You're not bipolar, you're a teenager. You're not mentally ill, you're just a teenager. And while that may be true in some cases, it is not true in all cases. In many situations, young people have got serious mental health issues and they're ignored just because they are young people, and people assume that when you're that young you cannot have mental health problems. However, especially when you are trans, you can have mental problems. Considering the trans community is at a higher risk of mental health problems than the general population, it's safe to assume that trans young people, as same as any other young person, experience mental health issues. And I know from personal experience that I have, and I feel like it's important that we talk about this. It's a big misconception that trans people are only mentally ill because they are trans, but in reality, trans people are mentally ill for the same reasons as everyone else, and because of how transness is treated by others, and because of how it can affect your life. It's not in isolation just because you are trans, it's because of how people react to you being trans, because of the extra danger it could put you in, because of how physically and mentally demanding it can be to transition, and because of how transition can actually affect you mentally. For a lot of people, gender dysphoria can cause them serious mental health problems, and that's just as valid as any other type of mental health problem. From my personal experience, when I was in the closet, I was not in a good place mentally. I had a lot of anxiety, I had a lot of sadness, and I didn't have a lot of the personality that I have now. I was very dulled. It was like I was just a shadow version of myself. I was still distinctly the same person, but I wasn't the same. I wasn't as much me as I can be now. I wasn't confident, I was self-conscious, I wasn't outgoing, and I'm very outgoing. I like to talk, I like to make friends. But at the time, I wasn't, because I was so self-conscious and I was so wrapped up in mentally how I was seeing myself. In social situations, I couldn't help but worry about how people would look at me and how people would perceive me and how people would treat me. I couldn't help but feel awkward in conversations when I was misgendered, when I was called my birth name, when I was called she or her or girl or a woman. I couldn't focus on the real things that were happening because of all these other things that were getting to me as a trans person. Even when I had recently come out, I still had a lot of anxiety about how I looked compared to other people my own age. I'm 17 now, but up until recently, I wouldn't have necessarily passed for the age that I am, because I wasn't able to get on hormones, and because I simply looked that much younger than guys my own age because of that. I wasn't developing in the same way as other men my own age, which led to a lot of self-consciousness and anxiety and worry about not fitting in, and people realizing that I'm trans just because I didn't fit in a lineup of guys my age. For me, coming out and transitioning has improved my mental health so much, but I think it's important to stress that transitioning is not a magical cure. There are plenty of trans people who experience mental health problems that are not caused in any way by transness, that are not caused in any way by how people have treated your transness. There are plenty of people who just are mentally ill, or are mentally ill because of other reasons in their life, and that's okay. Transitioning isn't going to be a miracle cure for everyone's mental health problems, but it can help. At least if you deal with one aspect of your life that is causing you problems, you can move on to other parts of your life. For me, coming out meant that I could deal with school better. I could deal with making friends and going out and being outgoing and dealing with stuff like public speaking and making YouTube videos like this. It allowed me to develop the lack of confidence that I had created in myself over the years, and it allowed me to develop myself. It allowed me to get interested in other things and to be who I wanted to be. Coming out and transitioning allowed me to be more me and to grab life by the gingangoolies and enjoy myself instead of worrying about everything that I did. When you feel down, I always believe that you should talk to somebody that you trust, be it a friend or a trusted adult like a parent or a teacher or a youth worker or a guardian or an older brother or sister or anyone who you trust to talk to this kind of stuff about. Even if you think that they can't solve your problem, they may be able to offer you some advice. You never know that they might have gone through the same things that you're going through. And a problem shared, in my belief, has always been a problem halved. Even if I tell you my problems and you can't help me, at least somebody else knows. And it's nice to feel like somebody else is aware, somebody else knows, somebody else can appreciate the fact that you're dealing with something. I encourage everyone, if possible, and if they feel like their issues are severe enough, to go and seek professional help. But I know that is not an option for everybody, so I will put down in the description some things that I think are helpful if you are dealing with any kind of sadness or depression or anxiety and all that kind of stuff. It's good to just, even the internet can be so helpful in helping you find information and find ways to deal with what you're dealing with, for now at least. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button down below. Subscribe button's over the other side. Please comment if you want. Tell me about what you think is important about mental health. And tell me about all of the things that you think are helpful to people who are dealing with negative mental health problems. And just tell me what you think in general. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.